some of these questions too, I love the questions that we're getting, but we're here to help you. Again, my name's Erica. I'm your point of contact once you finish your training and you're on your way, or whenever you decide to get involved with Louology. Maybe it's during training, but I'm your point of contact at that point when you're launching into the real world.
And I know a lot of you guys submitted questions in advance, but any questions that come to mind or anything that's, in your world that you're thinking about, that's a concern, that's a risk, that's a goal, feel free to put in the chat box. We'll try to get to as many of those questions as possible.
But you ready to kick in, Lou? You ready for
yeah,
the
yeah,
first
let's
question?
do it. Let's do it.
I thought you and Lucas would appreciate this one. Does TikTok work for aesthetics?
100% yes. TikTok is the fastest growing social media platform in the world. In fact, it's growing so fast and so big that the United States government just banned it from all White House representatives because they think it's a fear of a data concern. But it's owned by some people in China, and it was started off as a concept more for like kind of high school kids, just kind of singing and dancing and bopping around, having a good time. It evolved from that to being a very efficient business venture that's kind of literally a step above Instagram and Facebook and everything else. And the whole theme behind TikTok is, just posting your information, posting your story, posting your message, posting what you're up to in a fun way with a little bit of kind of dancing and music and that kind of thing. Not saying that you have to be a singer or a dancer, but just kind of picking a song, posting the music, and just give you a little life, because we all like to be entertained. And, we can either watch a story that's very blasé and boring and people are talking, or they can be having fun and smiling and dancing and singing and telling the same message. So it's just become the vehicle of entertainment that is pretty easy to jump on board. So yeah, I'm a strong believer in initiating that in your world for sure.
They also help educate you a little bit. And that's the thing. It's like, if you can bring some substance to what you're doing, it's not just about you dancing, but it's about having that connect someone to your vibe and to your expertise is the best thing.
Yep. And you guys, I've seen a lot of people just through one post. Well, let me give you an example. Another company I'm a 50% owner, and it's called Clinical Research Fast Track. We train people in the clinical research industry. We had one post that went viral and it wasn't like a zillion views, but they had like over 1 million views. Whoa. And from the one post getting 1 million views, I think we picked up about 50 attendees. It's been 10 grand a piece. Well, you guys can do the math. 50 times $10,000. That's a lot of money for a post that cost us nothing. And now, granted, that's not an everyday occasion, but that's like, wow, that's powerful. That's pretty cool,
So the second one is, what's the best way to market? Focusing on more functional approach, overall health and wellness and weight loss and aesthetics.
That's a very general question. So what's the best way to market? So that would be coming from somebody who's probably new to this game and hasn't done much marketing in the past. So I wouldn't say there's a best way to market, because it's kind of like saying, like, what's the best shoes, or what's the best shirt, or what's the best jewelry for you? Every person has got to have a personal opinion and a personal preference, and what's right for you may not be right for somebody else. So, I mean, as far as the vehicles to market with, there's TV, there's radio, there's print, there's social media, there's organic blog marketing, there's paid Google advertising, there's texting, and there's emailing and blah. I mean, there's probably 25 great avenues to market in, and you certainly can't do them all. Even if you had $1 billion in the bank, it's hard to do them all. So you just got to say, okay, here's all the things that exist in the world of marketing. Which ones feels warm and fuzzy to me? Which ones feels comfortable? Focus on those one or two avenues, whether maybe your two avenues is building a social media following and being an expert email marketer. So you focus on the two things that are comfortable to you, and you become a sponge for information. You Google, you watch videos, you ask people like me and Erica questions, and you're just, what's that saying? The squeaky wheel gets the grease, right? You got to be a pain in the ass about doing your own homework and asking people who've had success stories, what are you doing? What are you doing? And then you knock them off and you put your twist on it and you're off the races. You just got to know you're going to stumble through it. You're going to fail. You're going to suck. You're going to get rejected. Whatever can go wrong will go wrong. But as time goes on, you're going to fall in a groove, and it's going to come together. And eventually you will become an expert at those two things. And when you're kicking ass in those two things, in this example, email marketing, social media, then you add another thing. Now you're doing SEO, organic blog marketing, whatever it may be. So it's a hard question to answer, saying, how do I market? You've got to say to yourself, okay, what avenues am I going to start marketing with? And then who's your audience, and talk to your audience, of course,
Yeah. And I would add to that, especially in your industry, don't go too big. do tiny little steps at a time, and just realize how many clients do you really need to walk in your door immediately. If that number is just a gradual number, you want to watch our video in Louology about guerrilla marketing. And also just Lou's story about the lemonade stand. You just want to make sure you locate yourself well, you focus in on that region, and you know who your clients are, who you want walking in that door, and get your butt out there, like physically get out and get in front of, like, get involved with activities in the community that just naturally surround you. Look for free events, like look for salons having a party, or like having a grand opening or whatever. If you want their clients, like whoever's serving your clients, make connections and get referrals. And then once you have your client base, spoil them and get referrals, give them rewards for referrals, spoil them, and mine your people. What's the best machine to start with, and contacts that were given during class?
They're all amazing. It just depends what you want to focus on. I mean, there's great machines for hair reduction. There's great machines for facial skin rejuvenation. There's great machines for body contouring and everything under the sun. If I was going to start a new med spa today and I could only afford, let's say, one device, what would I do? I'd either do a platform that does a combination of skin rejuvenation and hair removal, or I'd probably do a body contouring system that maybe is some kind of fat reduction and tummy toning or things like that. I mean, that if I was going to start a business tomorrow and I could only get one device, I'd probably start with A or B. But again, like, you can make money, you guys, off any type of technology, regardless the type of modality. So it's not like which device will make me the most money. People ask me that all the time. It's a wrong question. Devices don't make you money. Injectables don't make you money. You make you money, and you learning how to market makes you money. So everything is monetizable. Regardless of the technology, injectables, whatever the product or service, to me is irrelevant. It doesn't matter. That's just your vehicle to get in front of people and market to them and show them the value they have to offer. And then they got to fall in love with you and your brand, your company, and then you grow and grow and grow. So don't get too caught up in thinking, well, let me pick the right technology or the right injectable that'll make me the most money. It doesn't work that way. You got to say, what resonates with me? What do I like? What do I believe in? And the more you believe in something, the more your passion shines through, your more your enthusiasm shines through, and people buy people. They buy your confidence, your vibe, your stories. They will buy whatever you're selling, regardless of the device. If you talk it up, you love it, they're going to be interested. So it's all about you picking something you're comfortable with, and then just, finding a way to market it.
Hey, so Lou, on that note, I'm sort of going to ask a second question there, but I'm wondering too, would you recommend getting a device from like a Luminous that adds on and adds on and adds on, or would you, as a startup, would you go for just an inexpensive like laser, or an inexpensive like tattoo removal or laser hair removal device?
I think inexpensive is kind of an oxymoron for the business. I've never seen a technology device in my industry, unfortunately, that's inexpensive, unless it comes from Asia, and like maybe it costs 15 grand, and the ones in America cost 70 or 80 grand, and you do get what you pay for, unfortunately. And so that's an opportunity. One day devices are going to be affordable and cheap for everybody. One day everything will cost 5 or 10 grand and they'll be amazing. Just like they're coming out with the Tesla. I think the next 6 months, it's going to be $22,000. That's supposed to be as good as the ones that are costing 100 now. So as that evolves with our world of aesthetic technology, I mean, I'm excited for those days, but right now they're expensive, unfortunately. I wish there was a more affordable way to go about it. But regardless what device you get, if you're going to get a decent quality, I mean, they're going to cost probably a low of $50,000 up to $100,000 plus. You have a payment of $1,000, $2,000 a month for good technology, unless you're doing something like a microneedling pen, which may cost you a one-time payment of $3,000 or $4,000.
So maybe we would want to, in that note, we would want to send them to MedShift, because MedShift is hooked up to a lot of the suppliers of lasers, and they also offer financing too. So they could assess your financial situation and also the equipment, what you want to do. what speaks to you, because I'm sure, especially if you go to NLI and you're getting exposed to all the different pieces of equipment, there's something that speaks to you more than others normally. So like, I don't know, we have a page that we're building called Mentors. So it's just Louology.com/mentors. And we're going to be adding people to it that we recommend. MedShift, you might want to talk to if you're looking at buying equipment. They just are connected to all of the suppliers, and they can help point you in the right direction and also get you financing for it.
Yeah, MedShift, you guys, is a vehicle for somebody who wants to get in the game but doesn't want to put down a down payment of 20, 30 grand, but they got decent credit and they can afford the payments. MedShift gives you that opportunity to get into a system with no money down and just pay a little bit more on the monthly payment than if you put a down payment down, but you're not locked in for life and you use it for 3 years, you give it back, that kind of thing,
Yeah, we haven't posted them yet. So if you have a question, just send it to ask@louology.com. Any questions afterward, during, ask@louology.com. That comes to me and I'll get you everything you need. Okay, you ready, Lou?
Mm-hmm.
All right. It's taking a long time to get legal paperwork done just to reserve my business name and officially file it with the state despite help, blah, blah, blah. Any advice how to make this go any faster? One setback has changed the issue of standard or professional LLC formation. I was advised to get professional since I would provide a professional service. Anyone else told you what to do? So like the kind of LLC, a standard LLC or professional LLC. And I also want to go back to that mentor page. There's a place called Inc. Authority on that. And if you go to Inc. Authority to set up your LLC, it walks you through it step by step, and you're not going to get ripped off, and it's going to make sure you do it the right way. But do you have an opinion about whether it's a standard or a professional LLC?
No, I don't think it makes a real big difference. Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's what I thought too. It's not really a big deal. How do you sell Lume?
So we shopped a bunch of private label manufacturers across the United States, people that make products for all the big boys. When I say big boys, there's like maybe 10 skincare lines in the world that are monster companies, doing $300 million a year in sales, and like big brands you may have heard of, like Skinmedica and Zeo and PCA and LTMD. So we found the companies that actually manufacture products for those guys, and they do it quite well. And so there's two options. You can say, hey, I want to create a custom formulation for a anti-aging skincare product that has this ingredient, green tea, on it, and they'll make you a custom formulation based on the ingredients that are the buzzwords, the ones that you want or the ones that they want. Or they'll also have about 20 in-stock formulations that they created, and they'll let you try them all. And if you love any of them, then you just slap your label on the one they already created. And under that scenario, you buy in a smaller quantity. If they do a custom formulation that you create from scratch, you're gonna have to buy probably at least 1,000 units at a time. So if it's 10 bucks a bottle, or let's say $5 a bottle, 1,000 units is $5,000. Well, 5 SKUs, that's 25 grand. That's a lot of money. Now, if they've got the existing formulations, you probably have to buy 10 at a time. And so that's $50 times 5, that's $250. And so that would be the route I would go, because they have some amazing formulations that are kind of stock to them, and you put your label on it, and all of a sudden you're off to the races going that route. So that's basically what we did. We kind of went down that road and created it. And now we're looking to be more of a wholesaler than a retailer. A retailer meaning you make the product, you sell at your own shop. Wholesaler to me means kind of like, let me find 1,000 nurses or doctors, estheticians that are gonna open up their own shop, and let me be the wholesaler that sells it to them for half price, and they mark it up and sell it for double, almost like a manufacturer, even though I'm not doing the manufacturing. So I'm a big believer in private labeling skincare products or cosmetics or whatever industry people are in. That's what the supermarkets do. If you guys go to the supermarket today, you look at the shelf, let's say a thing of milk, Knudsen, for $1.50. Next to it is the supermarket brand for $1. It's 50 cents less. It's the exact same thing. The supermarket pays Knudsen to put their milk in the supermarket's bottle. They slap their label on it, and now you're getting a deal, and it's just not a brand. So skincare is the exact same concept.
So it's LumeSkincare.com, only because our designer at Louology and Rebel Lana did the branding for it, so that's why I know. And it's actually on it's on Revlana. Abby asked about when is FabCon. So FabCon, we don't have a date for that yet. But what that's going to be, it's going to be everybody who we recommend as mentors to you guys. They're going to be in one room at the same time in Scottsdale. You can either attend remotely or attend in person and get everything taken care of, from legal to, ordering products to learning about what's out there, and whatever you need. We want everyone getting hooked up in one weekend. So that's going to be FabCon, but we don't have a date for it yet. It'll likely be once or twice a year through 2023. Please, if you want to be kept in the loop, it's Revlana.com/FabCon. What medical supply companies do you like to use and why? So
McKesson is the big boy. You guys are publicly traded. They have a bigger catalog of supplies than probably anybody in the world. I mean, I'm sure there's places out there that are probably a little bit cheaper, but then you got to piecemeal 7 companies together. Maybe you get this product from this company, and this one for this one, this one for that one. So we choose to go through them, even though we probably end up paying 5% more because of the convenience of one place to purchase everything from, versus making 16 phone calls every 2 weeks. So McKesson is like Allergan is the 600-pound gorilla in our industry. McKesson is the 600-pound gorilla in the world of supply. So that'd be a starting point. I would start with McKesson, and if you feel that you want to kind of shop it to 5 different companies versus one and get a little bit of pricing, you could do so. Just a little more time and energy.
No, this is a pretty big topic, but this is when something goes wrong, right? So
nothing ever goes wrong in business, ever.
So, this is actually one of our Revlana clients, and it's fairly old news. So I'm hoping that I need to connect with you and hope that everything was solved. There was a solution to this, but I'd love your advice on this for everybody, Lou. So she wrote, I just got horrible news. She's a mobile injector. So she injects in several different states, right?
Got it.
I heard that I cannot give Botox or fillers without my medical director on site. Therefore, my vision for my company won't work in Utah. My medical director has a med spa she wanted me to run and split profits 50-50, but I don't want to work for somebody. I want my own med spa. So what would you do in that case?
I don't have the regulations for Utah in front of me. They're different in every state. I don't have that memorized. But that doesn't sound right to me, to be honest with you. I mean, I would have to look into it. But that doesn't sit right in my stomach. It doesn't sound right. A lot of people tell me, I mean, on an average week, you guys, I get emails from across the country saying, hey, Louis, I can't do lasers. I can't do injections in my state because of this law. And 99.9% of the time, 99.9% of the time, they're wrong. It's bad information because some receptionist that works in some regulatory agency is playing attorney, interpreting the laws. So I would say if the person that told you that is a regulator at the state and they create the laws and they're citing to you from a link they can provide you, then that's a different story. But if somebody just told you that, it just kind of hearsay, with all due respect, I would call bullshit on that until you've done your homework. So anytime you hear something about a regulation, ask for the source in writing from the government, the state regulatory agency, read it yourself. If it's not crystal clear, pay an attorney $200 to or send it to me and I'll look at it for you. But 9 times out of 10, I mean, it's bad information. I get this every single week. I bet you I blow $200,000 a year just double checking inquiries like that. And literally 99% of the time, it's just bad information. I'm not saying this is this case, but I'm just saying do your homework versus just listening to one person who said one thing,
Appreciate that, Lou. This is an example of how the full access membership of Louology works. I would just run to Lou and ask him, and he would ask someone on his staff to go look into it to make sure it's real. If you're a full access member, we're here for you. We'll do that. Actually, I'm going to take one from here. It says, what's your personal opinion with plasma fibroblast treatments?
I thought about doing training courses on them last year, but the reason I hesitated, the reason I haven't, I've seen some really bad butcher jobs of some really extreme damage around people's eyes that scared the shit out of me. And I'm pretty risk adverse. I'm pretty risk adverse. I'm not saying that. I think in the right hands, the right technology, it's a good technology and it can do a good job. But personally, there's a lot of technologies that can provide a similar result without the risk, in my opinion. But I think give it 2 or 3 years. Once that technology evolves, it'll be amazing. But right now, even for me personally, and I've got the best people in the world work for me. I mean, it's too risky for me to bring on as far as the potential damage I could do to somebody's face. So it's a hot ticket right now. It's trending and it's latest and greatest. But so was a product called Quo that raised $300 million. And I don't know if they went public or not. It was this amazing cellulite injection that had 10 times more buzz and vibe and trend than plasma pens. And they're bankrupt right now. They went out of business because they had so many people's tush got stained black from this injection. All these class action lawsuits, they pulled it from the market. So I would not be surprised if the plasma devices also get pulled from the market the next year or two, just because it's kind of like the wild, wild west to me. I'm not saying that one day I think it's going to be amazing once they fine tune it, but I don't think we're quite there yet.
She's looking for a new line with great peelings and aftercare.
The best peels in the United States, in my opinion, actually, the gal who created this line, she used to work for me 18 years ago. She's a very famous dermatologist out of Arizona named Dr. Jennifer Linder. She created a brand called PCA. I don't know what it stands for, physicians, I don't know, but PCA. But they've got an amazing line of every kind of peel under the sun. That would be a great place to start. And if you want a little more aggressive peel, there's one called the VI peel. V as in Victor, I as in Indian. Really aggressive, great results. We used to train that years ago when I was in that game. And it's a nice price point. People pay you $500 plus for a treatment that probably costs you $50 to perform, and it takes 5 or 10 minutes to perform. So do the math on that one. 5 minutes, $600, $50 cost, and the customer's happy. That works. That works. We don't do a lot of peels in my business, but I'm very familiar with them. I know them well. But PCA is a great starting line to get rolling with. Can't go wrong.
Let's say someone lives in an area that's not very populated. Is it, with something like that, do you have any opinions of locating yourself inside of a practice versus running your own practice?
That's my preference. If I was going to be a practitioner, regardless if I had a ton of money or no money, if I could step into somebody else's practice and rent a room there or cut some kind of deal, I would much prefer that, because then you're piggybacking off their traffic. Like, for example, let's say somebody who owns a hair salon and they got 20 stations, which means there's 20 hairstylists cutting hair, and there's a room that you could rent in the back, maybe for $500 a month, or maybe for free, and do a profit sharing. And they're going to allow you to market to their customers. Well, think about it. If they've got 20 hair stations, and there's 20 hairstylists, each seeing 7 people a day, it's 140 people a day going through the doors that you're going to have permission to talk to. And the owner of the facility will want you to talk to them because they're going to get a piece of the action. And so I love scenarios like that, because the hardest part of building any business, you guys, is marketing. It's the cost to acquire a client, whether it's through blood, sweat, and tears or money. There's a cost involved. Either it's your human labor or it's money. But if you walk into an existing practice, you're piggybacking off their time, money, brand, and that's a home run to me. That's why I see all these gyms across the United States, Lifetime Fitness, Equinox, et cetera, that are adding in med spas because they got 5,000 members that or X% will try the med spa services. So I think you guys, one day you're going to see med spas in like Walmarts and Targets and just crazy places because of the traffic,
Yeah, I agree with that wholeheartedly. Okay, so this is more specific to laser hair removal, but do you have a top choice of laser hair removal machine, and why?
Yeah, there's a couple of good ones. The gold standard in the industry for years and years has been the Candela GentleMax Pro. I'll say it again. Candela is the brand. GentleMax Pro is the name of the device. And I'd say what's become a really strong contender to that is a company called Luminous. Luminous has, I'm trying to think of the name of their device, Splendor X. Luminous is the name of the company. Splendor X is the name of the device. Those two are probably hand in hands for just being amazing. Cartessa is a company that has an up and comer. I believe it's called the EVO Light. So I'd say those three are really, really strong devices. You can't go wrong. And there's always pros and cons to everything, obviously, but I'd say they're in similar price points. They all got great warranties, great customer service, great results. You probably can't go wrong with any of them.
Okay, great. All right. What is the cost and duration of a PRP course?
PRP course. If somebody was going to learn PRP, we have either a 1 day or 2 day option. 1 day is basic PRP with injections, focusing on the face primarily. 2 days we get into other areas, because PRP can go in a lot of different places. We actually add how to use cannulas doing it, and hair, and they do it in private parts for males and females. And the cost of the course, God, you'd think owning the business, I should know that, right? I'm gonna guess. I'm gonna guess. I'm thinking it's approximately $1,500 a day, give or take. I know that the more somebody buys, like any business in the world, the more somebody buys, the better deal you give them. So I know that our price goes down based on how many days somebody trains on, but I think it's in that general range of about $1,500. I love PRP, you guys. I'm a wussy when it comes to fillers. Like, I need fillers under my eyes. That's kind of a sore spot for me. Like, I'm losing the volume in my eyes, and fillers would be a great result. I've done it there before, but I'm a little nervous because there's issues, there's adverse events. There's 17 people that have gotten blinded the last 5 years, and not common, but you could do PRP under the eyes. And actually it's a version of PRP called PRF. It's a little thicker the way you use the product, and the results are amazing. And it's totally safe because it's your own blood. Now, granted, it may cost a little bit more. I'm just a big fan of natural and low risk if I can get it, personally speaking.
So where can I order Skin Pen Precision kits?
I'll be honest with you. Skin Pen used to be the player. They used to be the #1 brand out there, and they're not anymore. There's a couple brands that are actually better. But if you already own a Skin Pen, you want the kits to go with them, you have to go directly to the manufacturer. If you're thinking of getting a microneedling device, I could give you a couple names of ones that I think are kind of a step up, but I would say the best brand right now in the marketplace is probably one called Exceed, EXCEED, by Candela doesn't own it. They're a distributor. It's actually created, I think, out of Switzerland. But the reason I like it better than Skin Pen is battery operated, where the Exceed has actually a cord you plug in the wall and you get more power, you get more energy. With the more energy, you get a little better result. And I just think it's a little bit better. I think it's a step up. There's similar price points.
So suggestions for setting up a new business and navigating in a potential downturn in the economy.
So we had my marketing team had that conversation today. We're talking about, a lot of people think, who knows? I mean, your guess is as good as mine. I'm not a psychic. I am gonna have a psychic at my holiday party, so maybe I'm gonna ask her this question. But a lot of people, when you read the papers, they're like fear and doom and gloom, and this is gonna be the worst recession in 100 years coming up this year, and how Salesforce.com laid off 10% of their employees yesterday, and blah, blah, blah. So you hear all this fear in the air. And so, nobody knows what's gonna happen. That, who knows? Maybe the economy in 2 months will turn around and be phenomenal. There's new political things going on where changes are being made. So I don't have any answers, but what I was talking to my marketing team about, I go, it's almost like the tough times, you guys, recessionary times. I feel like it's opportunity for us, because what it makes you do, what it forces you to do, it's like, for example, let's say I'm spending hypothetically $100,000 a month and I'm getting 8,000 leads a month. But now, oh gosh, it's a tough economy I'm going to do. I don't want to spend 100 grand a month. I want to spend 50 grand a month, but I still want to get the same 8,000 leads. Well, guess what? By putting my head to the grindstone, you can figure out a way to do that. So a lot of times people think they have to keep doing more and more and more and spend more money and do more things, more initiatives, where the answer is really right in front of you. Take what you have, you take the database of people you have and the services you have, and how can you cultivate that to get more bang for the buck? So if your average person that comes to you is spending $100, rather than going and spending all this time and money to get more customers, why don't you find out a way to take that $100 customer and make the average customer spend $200 because they want to, because what you're offering, or maybe you just change the way you market, where there's less paid marketing and more organic marketing by emails and texts and phone calls. There's 101 ways to skin a cat. I think people just need to learn to shift gears with the tough times, and you can actually make more money because you find things that you've just been wasting money on over the years that you can fine tune and capitalize on.
I agree with that. Again, totally. You should always prepare for a bad economy and function that way all the time. One thing that hit me too is like, okay, I'll admit I've got COVID right now, so I'm isolating. I was thinking about this. A lot of spas stopped using masks. COVID's still out there. I finally got it, right? But COVID's still out there. For some reason, we're all pretending it's gone, and it's still out there. I think there might be a chance that you can attract more clients if you're the one place that is still making a big deal about staying very hyper.
Yeah, I agree. In fact, Erica, if there was an airlines that existed that mandated masks for everybody, even if it costs 50% more, that's the only airlines I would fly. And
I
I'll
got
go
it from
on an airplane for every 100 people nowadays. And I fly a lot, you guys. For every 100 people during COVID, it was 100% wearing masks. Now it's probably 3% out of 100 people. I kid you not, there's 3 to 5 people in the airplane wearing masks. I'm one of them, and it annoys me. It bugs me because what if the person sitting next to me has COVID? So it's like, I agree. I mean, don't be afraid of, oh, I got to do what everybody else is doing. I'm going to piss off this person. Do what suits you, and you'll find your niche. And your people, your vibe attracts your tribe. You know, I mean, half the people right now are saying, "Oh, Louis, you're an idiot. It's just like a flu and cold. What are you talking about?" That's fine. That's cool. You may not be my customer. That's okay. You know.
Okay, so where do you find a medical director, and what's a going rate for an individual practice to start? This person's in Reno, Nevada, but
I actually just hired a medical director 2 hours ago for Chicago. I can tell you what I paid. So luckily for me, Illinois changed their laws the last couple of years where a nurse practitioner can now be a medical director, providing they got a couple of years experience in the industry, where it used to only be like an MD or DO, which costs a little bit more money. So I am paying her a flat fee of $1,000 a month to be my medical director. If I was paying a doctor, it could be $1,500 a month. And again, it's state by state. It depends on the size of the practice, all these variables. But I would say Reno, Nevada, a little smaller market. I would say you could probably get a nurse practitioner, if I'm guessing $750 a month. In fact, my ex-girlfriend is a nurse practitioner in Reno, and she has her own med spa. I don't know if she's putting her name on other facilities, but whoever asked that question, if you want to message me privately, I'll happily look into it for you. But I would say $750 would be the number I'd go for in Reno, Nevada, for a flat monthly fee for like a nurse practitioner, because I'm positive they can be a medical doctor in Reno.
Yeah, and in general, you can find them just by Googling other med spas in your state and just look on the website. So we go over this pretty much every single month because it's a common question. But you just look at who. It's easy when someone is a medical director already. You don't have to sell them on how easy it is to be a medical director. They already know.
Yeah. And you guys, I've paid as much as $1,500 a month for a fancy plastic surgeon or derm. And then one day I woke up and said, Louis, you're an idiot. Yeah, you're an idiot, Louis, because nobody gives a shit who's coming in for Botox or lasers of who your medical director is. So, think about it. You go in for a treatment, you go in for a Botox, laser, hair removal, cold sculpting. You care about the provider that's touching you with the device, the injections. You don't really care who their doctor is that's not on site. That's just not even relevant. So I would say find the cheapest possible person that has an active license in your state and make it be price driven only, because the reality is you're going to know more than they do, and maybe once in a blue moon, there'll be an adverse event, that maybe some allergic reaction. You want to call a doctor. That may be a question you can't answer. I get that, but it's not frequent, you guys. It's now and then.
Hey, by the way, Marissa, our designer, she's building a directory that's going to help connect people with medical directors. So if you are an NP or an MD or anyone who can be a medical director,
we'll send you business.
Yeah. And it's just a directory. The catch is you just have to be a full access member of Louology. And right now it's only a one-time $69.95, and that's it. So, and then you get that status for life. That's going to go away in the future. So I would take advantage of that while you can. But that directory is going to be for anyone who wants to be listed in it and anyone who needs a medical director. We're going to start building that because this comes up way too much. All right. So how do you begin working in aesthetics as an RN when most places are looking for 2 years experience in laser/injecting?
So very common question. If you're going to be a hairstylist, you're going to be a nurse injector, a cosmetic laser tech, a graphic designer, a chef, you name it, you're out there and you have no experience and you got to land that first job. And every single employer in the world, including myself, wants a couple years experience. So, how is it that you could ever land a job, with no experience? Well, ask yourself this question. In this industry, there's probably 10 zillion people that were in your shoes and they landed a job and now they've got a couple years experience. How did they land that job? Well, it obviously wasn't from a resume. It wasn't from attending National Laser, Harvard, or Stanford. They got in front of somebody. They had a conversation. That person liked them and liked their vibe and figured, okay, I can teach them some skills, but I can't teach somebody a personality. And I like your vibe and I like your energy. So I'm going to give you a shot and go from there. And I've hired many people over the years, you guys like that. I've hired many people over the years that have had, skill sets that are newer and but great vibe and energy. And they've been my rock star team members. So it's pretty much that way in almost every business in the world. I mean, there's very few jobs out there that people aren't looking for experience other than probably being a nurse in a hospital. I think you could graduate from nursing school and tomorrow get a job as a nurse in a hospital because the supply and demand, right?
Yeah, you get your story. You really need to market yourself. You need to hone that. Make sure that you're finding your magic. Go to those the Louology success guides and work your way through. All the success guides are free. Just go in there, work your way through, get your story straight. A lot of people, you're getting in your own way, right? And I put these questions in order for a reason. The question after this, Lou, is do you have an age limit?
Age limit.
Age limit. So it's like, okay, think about it. When do you think, if you market yourself properly, do you think someone's going to ask you, so how many years have you been doing this? Not if you're marketing yourself well. There's no age limit too. The older you are, they're going to just assume you have a ton of experience.
Yeah, I think my most mature employee is 80 years old, 80.
You have an 80-year-old on staff?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so funny.
She's a rock star. She's amazing.
Oh, that's so cool. I love it. I need to know if you have an 80-year-old and I met her, then your spa's doing a great job too. No one looks 80 in there. I took a master injector course. Are there continuing education hands-on courses available to brush up on my skills?
Yes. For medical professionals, we have 2 courses. One is called Next Level Injections. This course focuses on facial anatomy because that's the #1 request we get. People are concerned about the anatomy, and even though you've learned the basic fundamentals, they want to know where do I, what's the danger zones, what's the no-fly zones, and also a little more focus on under the eyes, the tear troughs with PRF, platelet-rich fibrin, and fillers and things like that. So we do have an advanced course called Next Level Injections, and we also have a similar course called Next Level Lasers, which is latest and greatest technologies and procedures and techniques. So we do have they're both a weekend course. So yeah, that does exist. If you go to our website or call any of our advisors, they can kind of give you some scoop of more details on that.
Is that all in person? Because the next question is any certification courses coming to Philly?
Yeah, we actually are going to be in Philly this year. I can't remember the dates. So in Philly, we'll be in person, and we do have all of our courses online as well, on demand as well. But yeah, Philly will be there this year. I like Philly. Philly's a cool market. We're going to be right near that. God, it's a really cool mall. I think it's called King of Prussia, maybe something like that. I think so. I can't remember.
Sounds right. There's a King of Prussia there.
Okay, yeah. Is that a city or?
Yeah, that's the name of the city, isn't it?
Okay, yeah, it's a mall. It's a mall there then, yeah.
That's funny. But so that's Mackenzie. That's good news. So you want to stay in that loop when they're out in Philly. How soon do you start your media accounts before your grand opening? I love this question.
Yesterday. It's never soon enough. Don't wait till you're busy before you start a new initiative. Start everything now. Everything you can start today.
Yeah, you want to get your peeps around you. You want to get attention, and there's something with the internet called propagation. So they don't, the internet, social media platforms, they don't like new platforms as much as they like platforms that have been there, that have activity. They're watching, right? So you want to just get it going and don't think you're going to get an immediate result and get scared or whatever as soon as you start your social platform. It takes a while to build. So build it now. Tell your story. Take pictures while you're training. I don't know if you allow that, but take pictures while you're training, and like you're airplane out, or you're the day that you commit. Get start them on your journey, and really just like your passion, your experience, whatever it is, like get it out there right away and keep it flowing so you can get that community around you and get them in there when
you guys Google has a quality rating score. Basically means like the more time you've been online, the better ranking they'll give you organically. And the social media platforms, I think, are following the same lead, where somebody's been out there for 6 months versus 6 days, you're going to get some more juice as far as more power from them. They'll show your post to more people, more exposure.
We're running out of time here, but I want to get these questions in. Just wondering how long my certificate is good for. How do I keep it current? I'm not currently employed in aesthetics, but I don't want to let my certificate lapse.
Depends on the state somebody lives in. For injectables, there is no lapsing of certificates. For technology, if you live in Arizona or Texas, there's just very minor things you do once a year. Literally, it's next to no time and money. Most other states, it's not needed.
Okay, all right, that's good. Hey, Dennis, I loved your question. So Dennis set up an LLC in Massachusetts, and he's receiving random letters stating he must pay additional certificates, blah, blah, blah. I Googled this. Number one, there's two things, and Lou, you can address this too if you want, but I Googled it. It looks like it's just $500 one time. You pay that to Massachusetts Secretary of Commonwealth. Just know when you set up an LLC, you're going to be inundated with sales calls because that becomes public information. Then you're going to need this and you have scammers after you. So just be really, really careful.
And everybody tells you, oh, here's something you need, and you don't really need it.
Yeah. So just be really careful. Have you ever thought a mentor program where you have instructors allowing shadowing at their practice for a day?
We have looked into that many times before. It's not something I have a personal interest in at my company, but there's many, many, many providers out there that will allow you to shadow them for a daily rate of who knows what,
So related to that, I'm running into no one wanting to hire or let you volunteer to get your 100 hours in. What suggestions do you have?
100 hours of what?
I guess of practice.
I'm not sure what they mean by 100 hours. If they're talking technology, the only state that has 100 around it, there's 100 treatments required in Texas for technology. If somebody took our course, they would get that in the course. If they didn't want to take a course, they could do that on the job. Like, a treatment, maybe one person maybe you treat 6 body parts, that counts as 6 treatments. So you might need to see 20 clients, which takes you all of a week or two. And then you've knocked out your 100 treatments, so to speak. They're probably talking about Texas.
Yeah, hopefully that was helpful to you, Patty, because that is Dallas. She went to the camp in Dallas. So thank you. And then first steps to getting your med spa open. That's a huge question.
I would say start with the logo, start with the business card, start with the website. We've got an amazing in-house designer named Marissa. If you want to get a price quote and or brainstorm some ideas there. But yeah, you got to develop you first. Who are you? Where's your business card? Social media, your website, your logo, and then the legality things. And you get a business license and get a medical director and equipment and blah, blah, blah. But you got to develop you first. Who are you? What's your company's name? What's your website? What's your brand? What's your logo?
Yeah, and we love branding. We love it, and we mentor you through it too, because sometimes you're still trying to figure yourself out.
And you guys have, and don't be afraid of getting it wrong. So many people say, Louis, what's the perfect name? And gosh, what if I change my mind in 6 months? That's okay. My company, after being in business this is our 20th year in business. We're rebranding our name right now. It's going to go live, and probably actually Marissa helped me redo it. It's going to go live in probably about a month. But initially when I started this company, we were technology only. Then we evolved to injectables and medical professionals. So now we're kind of half technology training courses and half injectable Botox filler training courses. So if somebody's searching for a Botox training course, they see the name, the brand National Laser Institute, they may think, well, gosh, that's not relevant. It sounds like they focus on lasers, not injections. And I may lose that prospective customer. So if you guys ever go to like on Gap or Old Navy or Banana Republic, you'll see several brands next to it. You'll say Gap, Old Navy, Republic. You'll click on it and it'll take you to that specific clothing line or shoe line, or whatever it is. So our new branding says National Laser Institute, National Injection Institute, and National Laser Institute's in purple, National Injection Institute's in teal. If you click on any injection pages, there'll be a teal look that'll say National Injection Institute and laser. And when we do our marketing, we're going to brand it independently. So we're going to be branded as National Injection Institute for people who are looking for injections. So this is something that in hindsight, oh shit, I should have named my company differently from day one, but my mind wasn't in that place day one. So we evolve. We just evolve, and you go with the flow. And that's why you see all these big brands that are constantly rebranding and changing, because they're evolving too.
We just have 2 more questions. This one is going to be more of an inspiration. The question was it said, where do I find a job as a laser tech, at least for now? And keep in mind, you asked that question, maybe Lou, I want to hear if you have an answer to that, but we don't know where you live. Like, if you package yourself the right way, if you think about what you want to manifest and what people need to know in order to help you, how to focus your energy. So like, if you posted that question, you just said what town, what city and state are you in? What's special about you? I would have made an announcement to everybody, because you never know when someone in our own group, we've got owners of med spas in this group, right? So we could possibly help you by default, because you gave us that information that we needed to make that approach. So think about those things. Like, things don't just happen. You have to make them happen with clarity and purpose and really get your story straight. So what do you have to say to that, Lou?
Well, if it's a generic question of where can I find a job as a aesthetic technology provider or laser tech, I mean, the answer to that question is, well, if you'd asked me that question 20 years ago, I would have said only plastic surgeon and derms offices. If you asked me that question 15 years ago, I would have said plastic surgeon, derms, and med spas. If you ask me that question today, I'm going to say every type of medical professional under the sun, from dentists to neurologists, psychiatrists, OBGYNs, urgent care doctors, nurse practitioners, PAs, fitness centers, day spas, hair salons. I mean, the list goes. So it's like, it keeps getting broader and broader and broader. So like, that's why I'm joking. I'm serious. Again, joking about Target, Walmart. I mean, it's like kind of like saying, where can you get a Starbucks? It used to only be there's Starbucks stores. Well, now there's Starbucks in Safeways and markets and airports and everywhere. That's where this business is going. I mean, pretty soon you're going to see Botox in the airport. I was on a cruise ship 3 days ago in the Caribbean, in St. Thomas, the Virgin Islands. There was a full-blown med spa. I didn't tell you this, Erica. Full-blown med spa on the cruise ship. They did all this technology, all these injections. You know, it was a full functioning med spa on a cruise ship. Who would have thought that 15 years ago? Nobody.
Yeah. So this goes right on, brother, because this goes right back to packaging yourself and getting in front of, going back to that, find that practice that already exists, that has all that traffic, and bring it. Bring value. Don't take a job. Bring the value and package yourself as someone with skills who can bring value and to their existing clients, and bring more to their existing clients. And the world's your oyster right now, it sounds like, according to Lou. So that's good. Okay, so do you have to be a nurse practitioner or a physician to buy fillers, Botox, etc.? That's our last question.
The answer is no. I buy Botox and fillers. I'm not a medical professional. I have a medical director, and I submit their license to the providers, and therefore myself or my colleagues, coworkers, teammates, receptionists, whoever can place the orders. So if you're in a state where a nurse practitioner can be a medical director, you can call it in yourself. If you're not in that state, you got to get a medical director. They give you their license. You pay them a fee. You send in their license, and you're off to the races. If you're not following us on Instagram, please follow us at Ask Louology, like ask a question, ASK Louology. And as Peter Drucker says, the best way to predict your future is to create it. You probably heard that before. I love that quote. Peter Drucker, the best way to predict your future is to create it. And everybody on the Zoom chat can create their future, can manifest their destiny. But no, it's a journey. It's a hurdle. It won't happen overnight. But as long as you say to yourself, it's not a matter of if I will succeed, it's simply a matter of when, then the only variable for you becomes a timeline to get there. 6 days, 6 weeks, 6 months, 6 years. We don't know how long it's going to take you to get to where you want to go, but we sure as heck know one thing. If you get frustrated and throw in the towel, you're not going to make it. But when you hit those brick walls, when you get frustrated, you want to scream and yell, provided you keep going and going and going and going and look for inspiration and support and go to the left and go to the right and keep on moving and grooving, eventually you will get to where you want to go, regardless of your financial situation, regardless of experience or not. You will get there if you believe in yourself.
That's right on, brother. Right on.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, Lou, it was a pleasure. It was a pleasure, as always. Thank you so much.
2023.
Really appreciate it. Yeah.
Have a good night.
Have a great year.